We are the Shark Brothers.
And this is Adventure and Wildlife.
Nice.
We've always lived on the wild side, and that's why we call this place home, the Charlotte Harbor Gulf Island Coast.
In this series, we explore all the good nature found here in Florida's premier ecotourism destination, where our best side is outside.
Here we go. Gone.
Our family roots in Southwest Florida span over 4 decades. And what drew us here in the first place is what keeps us here today, wild nature. We live on a tributary of the Myakka River, an ancient waterway adjoining Charlotte Harbor, the Peace River, and Gulf of Mexico.
To better understand the vital role that water plays in the region's ecology and economy, we turn to our friend Betty Stogler, an agent with the Florida Sea Grant Marine Extension Program in Charlotte County.
We're currently standing at Ponce de Leon Park, overlooking Charlotte Harbor. We're really right at the mouth of the Peace River where it joins with Charlotte Harbor. One of the unique things about Charlotte Harbor is it's really multiple estuaries in one. And so we have the Peace River Estuary, the Upper Charlotte Harbor Estuary, the Myakka River Estuary. As we move west, we have the Gasparilla Estuary and Lemon Bay Estuary, and each of these have unique characteristics and salinities and different fish species and seagrasses and other coastal habitats. Here in the Upper Harbor, we have much darker water. It's generally referred to as brown, and that's because of the natural tannins that any plant matter produces. As leaves and grass clippings fall into the water, those tannins get released into the water and stain it brown. It's not dirty, it's just tea-colored. If you were to pick up a cup of water and look through it, you would notice that you can see through it quite well. As you move south, down through Charlotte Harbor and then west out towards the Gulf, you're going to get much higher Gulf influence, much higher salinities, much bluer water. Other important features are the mangroves that you see in the background. These mangroves provide canopy for our nesting birds. They also have roots that extend into the water and provide a lot of refuge for our important fish species and crustaceans such as blue crab, which is really important to our commercial fishery here in Charlotte Harbor. Charlotte County's economy is largely driven by our aquatic resources. People come here for world-class fishing, sailing, paddleboarding, kayaking, bird watching, and all of these activities require healthy water quality, healthy habitats, and a healthy fishery. In order to ensure the health of our aquatic environment, there are a number of water monitoring programs. Some of those are designed to make sure our beaches are healthy, so they're very specific to that resource. Others are designed to really just give us a long-term picture of what the water quality in Charlotte Harbor looks like. As part of maintaining good water quality, we also like to keep an eye on what's happening with our habitats and also our fish and wildlife. Nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus are important to a healthy estuary unless we see them in excess. Activities such as fertilizing your yard or walking your dog and not picking up after it, things like some agricultural activities and failing septic systems. When these nutrients enter in excess, it can lead to algae blooms. And so that's, one of the challenges that most estuary systems, not only Charlotte Harbor, but worldwide, are experiencing. Another coastal challenge that we face is just in general pollution, things like plastic in the environment that can get out into the water that just doesn't break down, and it'll get into smaller and smaller pieces, but it never actually leaves the system. Again, not unique to Charlotte County or Charlotte Harbor, but certainly something that we need to keep an eye on. Along the Southwest Florida coast, we periodically experience red tide blooms. Red tide is a naturally occurring type of algae called a dinoflagellate. There's many dinoflagellates worldwide. This particular one that causes our red tide is toxic. Red tide forms offshore about 10 to 40 miles in nutrient-poor waters, and what causes it to bloom, scientists still aren't quite sure. But once it does bloom, the winds and currents bring it to our coastal, our nearshore waters, And at that point, it interacts with the nutrients that we provide to the estuaries. And if we provide nutrients in excess, it can cause that bloom to intensify and to stick around much longer than we'd like to see it here. One of the unique things about Charlotte Harbor is that almost 80% of the shoreline is in permanent preservation as part of the Charlotte Harbor Preserve State Park. This land was purchased by the state of Florida as a buffer between what's happening on the land and the aquatic resources below it. These buffer preserves allow water to slowly make their way to Charlotte Harbor, and in the process, nutrients and other pollutants can be filtered out before it reaches the open waters. They also, for us as users of the resource, they provide us with this beautiful mangrove system to look at and to enjoy, so we don't see these high rises and lots of homes and stuff when we're out on the water. We see this wonderful natural and wild environment. And it's one of the things that really makes us special, I think, in the state of Florida.
Just a few miles from the coast, east of downtown Punta Gorda, a rural environment unfolds. In this Conservation Spotlight segment, Eva and Chris Warden share how their passion for agriculture and education planted the seeds for this place where locally grown organic vegetables bring the community closer together.
Community-supported agriculture is a fabulous way to ensure a food supply for a local community. Members of a community-supported agriculture farm prepay for the growing season, and that provides the farmers with working capital that's required as basically seed money for that season's crop. And when the farmer has that stability of knowing that they have the necessary capital, they can make more wise stewardship decisions. By having members of the farm, we also can have lots of exciting educational and entertaining opportunities at our property, and the farm becomes like a center for the community. When you come to our farm on a Wednesday afternoon, you get to see all different kinds of people who share the common interest in healthy eating and in providing great food for their families and friends. And we have events at the farm that are food-based. We've had some wonderful brunches, we do workshops, tours, and all of that is possible because of the support provided by the members. Here at the farm we grow over 50 different kinds of vegetables, and we grow many different varieties of each type of vegetable. We have 3 different membership options. You can either be a member here at the farm, at the Organic Farm Stand in Punta Gorda. We also have the Organic Veggie Box membership, and we deliver boxes all the way from Naples up through St. Pete. We have a 3rd membership option, which is our Farmers Market membership, and that is either at Sarasota or St. Petersburg. For us, it's really enjoyable to see these families who have a long-term relationship with the farm, and we also really love to meet new people and bring them into the fold. Chris and I are basically educators. We both have doctorates, and mine is in ecosystem management, his is in crop science and plant nutrition. I was a professor of horticulture at University of Florida before starting this farm, and Chris also taught there. And we have really been educating the whole time we've had this farm.
This will be our 16th season in Punta Gorda. We farm on about 55 acres of crop land. The farm in total is about 85 acres. We start our greenhouses in the end of the summer, and we go all the way through the winter and into May, and then usually June 1st we're all wrapped up. Summer times are very important. You know, it's a period of fallow for the crop production. We do cover crops. Sometimes we'll do a legume mixed with a grass, like a Sudan grass or sorghum, and then we grow that cover crop and manage it through the summer to achieve good growth, a lot of biomass. So Pretty much we have a plant or a crop growing year-round on the land, so it's not sitting open to the elements, the rain and the intense sunlight. So that's part of our management strategy. The beneficial habitat that we create at the farm level is critical for our production system. That really allows us to have the organic crops. We rely on that more than anything else in our ecosystem. My type of day is trying to keep everyone going and in an active role. I usually do a lot of the cultivation with the tractors and some of the initial field setup, and then I'll run some of the irrigation systems. But once we hit our production season, every day has a given task, and it pretty much rolls. It stays that way until the end of May. We're always trying to improve on our irrigation methods, really focusing on conserving water, as we apply it to crops. It's come a long ways in the controls and, just the rate of application and, everything. Very precise. It's right to the plant, very little waste. And that's great. We try to conserve the water wherever we can. And that's based on, the whole system approach to things. A lot of it comes from both myself and Eva being, hands-on and having a very good crew. And our members, our farm members, are part of the farm ecosystem, if you will. They support us and we provide, good product to them. We also work with a number of chefs in the area in Charlotte County. There's the River City Grill and then also the Wyvern, both of the main chefs there. They come to the farm on Wednesdays to pick up their vegetables. And then also the Votech Center in Charlotte County, we have them come out to the farm, and they'll also at times have vegetables that they, from the farm that they work with over at their campus.
Charlotte County, Florida is known for the beautiful coast, the Gulf Islands, the tarpon fishing, the crabs, the wonderful beaches. But there's also this interior landscape that is so rich and diverse and interesting. Our farm is located just across the street from the Babcock Webb Wildlife Management Area, which is almost 80,000 acres of protected land. And we're just a mile from Shell Creek, which is the source of water for the city of Punta Gorda. It's a beautiful, pristine waterway like old Florida. We steward the land so that we are part of the ecosystem, but in a way that is fitting in with the natural environment rather than opposed to it.
Charlotte County's diverse natural habitats are alive with animals of all shapes and sizes, including some that might surprise you. Lions, tigers, and bears are but a few of the animals that inhabit the Octagon Wildlife Sanctuary in Punta Gorda. While it is open to the public, it's not a zoo. Established in the 1970s to rescue and rehabilitate abandoned and abused exotic animals, it is a retirement and nursing home. Residents here live a nurtured and peaceful existence, thanks to Director Lori Carone and her dedicated staff of volunteers and supporters.
Now, Lori, we're here with Bremy, and we were fortunate enough not too long ago to help you all move her to this new enclosure. Now, I remember you telling us that she was brought here with her brother after their previous owner got sick.
Yeah, and sometimes people don't realize when siblings come in, they tend to get a little aggressive with one another, and then you have to make that decision to separate them. They tend to adjust very well with that, and have no problem.
That's funny because when we got her in here, it wasn't only but a couple minutes, and she was in her pool, and then we had the pleasure of feeding her, and so she seems like she's adapting really well.
Yeah, she really is having a good time.
Now, at any given time, how many animals would you have here? I've been trying to count as I go around, but how many do you have here on site?
Generally around 150, and that's including birds that we get in, and also our goats, and we have all our big cats, our bears, our
monkeys,
lions.
hyenas.
Exactly. It can change at any moment.
How important is it to have the public come out and have their support here?
It's very important. The support is overwhelming. There's some really amazing people we have met. If it wasn't for them, this place probably wouldn't exist. At times, I have to say, it is hard to be open to the public because you get a lot that don't understand what we are truly about. And that's the hard thing, is to educate them properly, their understanding of what we do out here.
We read the mission statement of the Octagon. In part, it says to provide a recovery and a living environment for abandoned and abused exotic wildlife species. The recovery part of that really struck us because animals come here with different physical and mental issues from their previous owners. What are some of the things that you see when animals arrive here, when they're fortunate enough to arrive here?
I appreciate that. Every single animal out here has a story, whether they have been not given the proper nutrition when they were younger, and then they get here and it's up to us to try to catch up. We have a tiger that was given a bottle for the first part of his life. They did not provide him the proper protein that he needed to grow. And so his bone structures are out of balance. His digestion is out of balance. So he has a very special diet. We have animals that if you even walk past with a rake and shovel, which we do around here where we're cleaning, and a lot of times they will panic and hide and get into a corner. You are trying to show them that they're not going to be hit with those.
So this is almost like in humans you hear the term PTSD, post-traumatic
Yes.
stress disorder. Why wouldn't an animal experience the same triggers and memories from bad experiences before arriving here?
Absolutely, and they all have it. And it's just a
Wow.
matter of adjusting every single animal to whatever their needs are. Just like, you have some that have eye issues. You have some, again, that have hearing issues. Mainly a lot of them have teeth issues. So, you have to adjust to make whatever it is you can do for them to make it comfortable. And then they're not nervous or
Right.
agitated.
You don't get any state or federal funding at all, right?
Right.
It's all strictly donations, what you get.
Everything is donations. Generally, it runs us anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month, and that's food,
That's
medical
food,
supplies, veterinary care, obviously, just all around operational expenses.
When it comes down to it, that's what it takes. Can you just speak to some of your supporters and organizations that really help you keep this going?
Oh my gosh! And again, if it wasn't for them,
Hey, baby.
they have been a blessing to us. All these organizations. We have Harry Chapin Food Bank that have been delivering meat out to us every week for probably 15 plus years.
Wow.
Last year, we were told we fed out 93,000 pounds of food out of meat alone.
Just meat.
Yeah, just meat alone in 1 year. And, we get our produce from Target. That's all food that's not human consumable. So Cheney Brothers has been donating for about a year or two now. And then we have Winn-Dixie off of Bayshore in North Fort Myers that's been donating every day for probably 25 years or so.
Lori, the founder of the Octagon, Pete Carone, your late husband.
Yeah.
What do you think inspired him to start all this?
Wow. Pete was always involved with animals one way or another, whether it be working on a farm. There was a place in northern Florida that actually had exotic animals that he learned a lot from as well. Said, you know what, there's a need for this, so let's go that direction and help animals.
And you found this place and became a volunteer, and that's
Yeah.
how you discovered the
Yeah.
Octagon and met Pete, is that right?
Right, exactly. Back about 27 years ago, as a matter of fact. I stepped in through the front
Wow.
gates and I never looked back.
Now, it doesn't take you long when you're walking around here. I mean, right there an eye shot, right here an eye shot. You're volunteers. Just how important are they to keeping this place together and up and running?
Oh my gosh, I tell you, again, a blessing, because you figure a lot of our volunteers all have full-time jobs. Most of them are going to school, and they have families to get home to as well. So a lot of my volunteers have been with me 10, 15, 20,
Wow.
25 years.
That's
And
dedication.
yeah, it really is. And this place wouldn't exist without their dedication. They're not doing for anything other than these animals.
Do you find yourself getting emotionally attached to these animals? Is this something that you maybe try to avoid, or is it just impossible to do that?
You try. You get that attachment when you've taken care of them so
Sure.
long that there's that connection you have with
Yeah.
them. But then I try to put up these walls too, that I have to, because when it comes time to making that decision, that's the worst part of my job here. Is when you finally talk to your vet and say, okay, it's time. and then we have to euthanize. You don't talk for a couple days afterward. It eats you up inside, you know. But then the other part is saying, okay, it's opening up another place for another animal that might need your help.
It's kind of ironic when you think about it, because it's all about quality of life. That's what this place is all about.
Exactly.
The quality of their life. And when it comes to that point, that's probably one of the most important quality of life decisions that you can make.
Absolutely.
Albeit a tough one.
I mean, I've had some heartbreaking times where, you know, you don't get over it.
No, you don't. That's what makes it real, what you do.
My family doesn't understand it, but it's okay.
But you do.
My Octagon does, yeah, my Octagon family does, you know.
You just have to wonder, and so I want to ask you, what is it that keeps you going?
The volunteers and how much this place means to them and the care that they provide. Sometimes it's families to see them how much they enjoy this place and they get so much out of it, and that just gives you that extra boost. With the animals, you know, by far, it's just walking out and walking around and the animals recognizing you and giving you that peace, that look of peace, saying, you know, their way of saying thank you for taking the chance and putting everything you can into keeping us going. And, you know, you sense it about them, and they just, yeah, it's the animals.
We thank you for joining us, and thanks to all our special guests for sharing their knowledge and know-how.
To explore our good nature, log on to pureflorida.com for all the information you need to plan your getaway.
From the Charlotte Harbor Gulf Island coast, we are the Shark Brothers. Until next time, keep it wild.